This is the coolest hunting rifle I own.
So you are going to show us the coolest hunting rifle that you own.
Yes, sir.
I've seen it before, and I can't wait for you to share your personal excitement with our audience here at Rifles, Rods, and Broads.
Hey guys, Langosta and JoJo here.
How's it?
Today we are talking about the ultimate hunting rifle.
The ultimate hunting rifle. I just had to repeat that.
Yes, sir.
I'm a repeater.
Now, this is my ultimate hunting rifle. You may have your ultimate hunting rifle, but for me, this is the coolest hunting rifle I own.
So you are going to show us the coolest hunting rifle that you own.
Yes, sir.
I've seen it before, and I can't wait for you to share your personal excitement with our audience here at Rifles, Rods, and Broads. Mahalo to all of the subscribers out there on YouTube. Also, those of you following us on our Facebook as well as Instagram. Before you go, don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button. Ring that bell. Ding! Rifles, Rods, and Broads appreciates it. And again, mahalo to all of you that have already done so. We appreciate you each and every episode.
Yes, sir. Okay, let's get into it, guys. I'm so excited about this rifle. I have coveted this rifle for a long time, and I finally have it. It's finally mine.
And we have this box here that we've been spending the past 2 years just finding the right music for the opening of this box. And now it's going to be time.
Yes, sir. Now, you may notice that this rifle box is short, but please don't be alarmed. It's not a 22. It is a short rifle because it's a takedown rifle. Thus, why it is the ultimate hunting rifle. So, drum roll, please. Overhead shot and sound. You have arrived. So for those of you that don't know what this is, this beautiful setup here, magazine fed takedown rifle. It's got a bull barrel, fluted, has threads for suppressor or for a muzzle brake. It is a takedown rifle. It is a true traveling hunter's rifle. If you are a serious big game hunter, if you want to go to the continent of Africa and you want to take down big game, you need an HS Precision Pro 2000 PHR professional hunting rifle. It's hard. It's hard to hold the enthusiasm in, but I'm going to get up and give you an overshot view, and I'm going to put this bad boy together and walk you through the features of this amazing piece of American engineering.
This takedown rifle is definitely amazing, and it makes traveling with a rifle so simple. HS Precision has perfected the PHR, and Langosta, this is his baby. And as you can see, the excitement, the beautiful intro, even our intro isn't as good as the gun intro or this rifle intro. And as you can see here, he's showing you how this beautiful piece of rifle, this HS Precision, is coming together in just 5 seconds. And again, for those of you that are hunting here in North America and you guys are looking to take a trip, explore, this is the ultimate Africa gun that will take you down some big game. We're not talking deer. We're not talking elk. We are talking what type of animals?
This is a one size fits all. So in the 300 Win Mag, you can shoot any of the plains game animals, no problem. Eland, kudu, nyala, all the big antelopes. And you can shoot some of the smaller antelopes because they don't know that you're shooting them with 300 Win Mag because they'll be dead by the time the bullet hits them. So this bad boy has a threaded barrel, and it didn't come like this. The third person that was going to buy this made the seller or talked the seller into threading it.
Okay.
So, because he thought that it would be really cool to be able to put up a suppressor. By the way, if you don't know this, if you hunt in Africa, hunting with a suppressor is not a big deal at all. They're very common there. In fact, some of the professional hunters will have one and they'll lend it to you.
It's just a matter of getting that suppressor before going to Africa.
Well, if you live in a free state outside of California, Massachusetts, you'll have very likely you will have a suppressor, no problem.
Right.
So you can leave the United States with the suppressor and bring it back, not a problem.
Awesome.
I didn't know that until I saw some American hunters out there I think it was from Colorado.
So do you have a suppressor for this gun, or it's just...
No, I do not, but I want one in a very serious way, in the way that people that love things want things. That's what I want.
So the benefits of the suppressor on this puppy is going to be what?
Well, for African hunting, man, like you don't have to worry about having ear protection, right? It's not going to be silent like in the stupid movies where
right.
It's like, it's a 300 Win Mag. It won't be like that. But it won't make your ears ring, basically. And the trackers, Americans have a bad reputation of going to Africa and having a muzzle brake on a 300 Win Mag.
Ooh.
That's very, very not popular. That's very not cool. Not only do you scare the crap out of all the animals within a 2-mile radius, but you'll make everybody's ears ring that's around you.
Mm-hmm.
That's not cool. So going suppressed in Africa is a good thing.
Okay.
So let me cover some of the features that this rifle has.
Let's do it.
Because so this is a used gun. This gun's from the 90s, not a brand new gun, but it has some very neat things that are it's just freaking cool.
I'll tell you what, for being a used gun though, and if you're in the market and you've never bought used, it is an option. And if you find the right deal, the right person, there's a lot of people out there that, I think for most gun owners out there, when you purchase a gun, you are taking care of that piece that you have. So, you're going to come across some bad apples, but for the most part, I think people take pretty damn good care of their guns. So don't be afraid sometimes to buy used.
Absolutely.
And do your research.
Absolutely. I've bought a lot of used, whether pistols or rifles over the years, and you'd be surprised how unused a used gun could be.
Right.
Case in point, this is one of them. When I got this rifle, the bolt, in fact, I've probably shot maybe 100 rounds through this thing, but the bolt was not scratched. All of the bluing around the edge of this bolt was in great shape. In fact, maybe the overhead will show a better angle of that. But when you look at usage of a bolt from being racked in there, you would look at these little sections here, and you're basically looking for the paint to be worn out, for the bluing to be worn out, and you can see it has all the bluing. Now the scratches and stuff that are here now, that's me. This was brand new. This is all brand
So
new.
where did that gun come from?
This gun,
where was the previous owner located? Because I'd imagine if you're buying like a used gun, thinking about where you would buy a used gun, California might actually be a great place. And the reason being is that there's not so many places to shoot. So your average Joe gun owner may have only taken that gun to the range a couple of times, and now it's on the market for sale for somebody else to purchase.
No, for sure.
Versus like some like Midwest state where it's like, hey, let me go in my backyard, let off some rounds, and put some use to that gun. So do you ever look for, used guns that are in certain locations like California where there is a chance that they may not necessarily have been used more than other locations?
I think that when I'm evaluating whether to buy a used gun, I really am looking at the parts, and I'm looking for the wear on the parts.
Okay.
I'm looking for the wear on the slides, the barrels, all that type of stuff. That's what I'm looking for. This gun, I think, came from Pennsylvania.
Okay.
So the guy that bought it from the broker was another FFL. He bought it. He made the FFL spend the money and get the threading, and then he returned it. Did a total 180. So anyhow, so I was happy that that it's threaded. It's not the thread from the factory. It wasn't factory done, but it shoots pretty damn good. So let me give you another angle of how this bad boy comes apart. So go a little. You can zoom a little tighter if you want. But
My
like that.
Browning 22 is like that.
Yeah, so it's a takedown.
Yep.
It's a takedown. So HS Precision designed this. This is their patent, which ran out. And guess what? There isn't anybody copying them because it's so expensive to make this gun. So if you were to order this gun from HS Precision, you're probably going to be paying something like $7,000-8,000.
Wow.
Yeah, I got this gun for I want to say $3,200.
Okay.
Now, not a cheap gun, right? I'm granted, but if you were to buy a comparable takedown, you're looking at a German-made R8 made by Blaser, and that's $9,000 for the polymer one, and like 15-20 grand, for anything that's got wood on it.
Yikes.
So, and it's not like this. This basically is an interrupted thread. So you've got thread, smooth. You've got 3 threads on here and 3 smooth sections. And basically you're doing half a turn or quarter turn maybe. That's there, and then a spinner, rotate, and you'll see when you run your fingers on here, this is totally flush. This is flush, and that's how you know you're back to 0, and you can hit the lever, and she's done. She's done.
Just like that.
Just like that. So the other cool feature is that it's magazine fed, right? So you can run around. If you're running in the safari truck, you want to unload her, no problem. You got a loaded mag. You have it in your pocket. Off you go. I think it fits 4, 3 + 1. And then I always have ammo on my stock. I think it's another 7 rounds. And this is a cheek riser. You guys that don't understand the importance of centering your eye, the center of my eye has to be in the center of that prism. If you don't do that, you're not set up right. So most hunting rifles are going to be too short. Mm-hmm. If you're taller, it even gets worse for you. So if you're 6 foot tall and above, it gets worse for you. You need a cheek riser. So these are the features that I did. Obviously, the rifle just came by itself. I bought the single piece base, and I bought these separate Picatinny rings on it. And truth is, I probably could have gone a little bit lower, but it's just fine. When I have this riser, it really is perfect for me. And then this is a Leupold VX5 3x14, I believe. Yeah, 3x15, excuse me. Now, why did I choose this? I made a very specific decision to get this scope. I've got this hunting scope on 3 other rifles. Okay. This guy has a fire dot. It has very clear numbers for my dope. And yes, I know how to dope my gun. And it has a 0 stop. So once I'm done shooting at 400, 500, 600 yards, I just turn her back and click
to 0.
Back down to 0. I missed a warthog at 700 yards because I wasn't able to go to 0 stop.
And you weren't using that scope.
And I didn't have that scope. I had an old VX.
I mean, you've
VX3.
sold. I mean, once I buy another rifle, then I will more than likely place that exact scope onto said rifle. I know some other members of the Redondo Rod and Gun Club, you've also sold on that scope as well. Yeah. I think Raul has that VX5
I've
too.
Probably sold 5 or 6 of these scopes.
Yeah, you are the most unknown Leupold VX5 sales rep that is around. So Leupold, get this guy a side job.
I need another one of these scopes for my AR. Anyway, so there's a reason for this. This scope you can shoot low light. The low end magnification for 3 is perfect for your starting magnification. Mm-hmm. I think you really should not have a minimum magnification more than 4. Some of these scopes that are like 7x25 or something like that, the 7 is too low. The magnification is too high. I want to be on the lowest magnification, especially if you're going through thick brush. Okay, because you will see an animal and you won't be able to find it in your reticle, in your optic, because you're too magnified. So you always start from a low magnification, and if you want to
work your way up,
you can zoom it up.
Yeah, and Leupold, you're never going to go wrong with their scopes. I mean, the glass that they put onto there and just the way that they produce their glass and their scopes, it's just so top quality stuff. It's great.
Beautiful. It is beautiful.
So that HS Precision along with that Leupold scope, it's a match made in heaven for you, isn't it?
This is the perfect setup. This is really why it's the ultimate hunting rifle. Now you'll notice that the rings, I want you to see, Brian, if you could zoom in to the rings, look at how thick these screws are on here. They're almost twice as thick as some of the other brands. This is a tally. These are tally rings. And I'm going to tell you why I like the tally rings. These tally rings are special because they fill the gap of the recess. So there is no gap. The inside of the Picatinny rail takes in all of that space. So on most rings, you have to push them forward. Even the Leupold Mark IVs, you have to push it forward so it locks up against the front of this. So that means there's a gap in the rear. So you can't take on these other rings, you cannot take it off and on and still be zeroed. These, hypothetically, you can. I haven't tested that, but because they're, as long as I put the ring in the same spot that I took it out of, it should be at zero. I don't really see a scenario that I'm taking that off because I cut the foam and stuff to leave this on because I don't want to do all that.
Right.
Now, the advantage when you're traveling, right, is that you have a small package.
That's what she said.
You don't think that it's a big deal, but if you're going on, let's say you're hunting Alaska, those little planes, those little cubby planes, they're tiny, man, and those things are heavy as hell. So I could actually put this into a soft case, go to my hotel, put it into a soft case, throw that on the plane, and leave that with the hotel until I come back. And
be a lot more compact with that size of a rifle than just not having a takedown rifle.
Correct. Also, when you're traveling to Africa and you have a couple different guns, like I have a double rifle that I use for dangerous game. Both of them are takedowns, so I'm cutting down the profile of what I'm carrying. That box is a lot easier to maneuver in just when you're airport hopping. It's a long trip. It's 2.5 days to get there.
Kind of going back to those scope rings, I know when we've been down at the range and you've been able to make a lot of sense out of a lot of things when it comes to guns and shootings. For me, myself, your scope rings, they're always going to have those dual screws just kind of as a redundancy. Yes. And the way that you explained it to me, which made so much sense, is that you want everything as tight as you can in terms of like not having any movement, because every time you fire around, it's literally an explosion that's trying to take everything apart.
Yes. The recoil is actively disassembling your rifle, whether you like it or not. So to your point, look at how, let's do back a close up on here, Brian. I don't know how close you can get in here, but the diameter of these screws on these tallies is really thick compared to even the Mark IVs. So what does that mean? That means that when you're cranking down on these bad boys with the torque wrench, you're less likely to snap them. I have another rifle that I snapped them. I've snapped not the tally screws, but the other brands. I've snapped them often because when I'm out at the range, I re-snug everything, and then I didn't have the fix-it stick limiter. Well, it doesn't have a limiter, but the fix-it stick torque wrench is a very nice piece of equipment. I used to have just a regular torque screwdriver, and it has that little click snap. Well, sometimes if you're not careful and you don't bring down the poundage down, right, when you hear the snap, you snap two things. You snap the limiter on the screwdriver, and you snap the screw. And if you snap the screw, you are screwed because you're done with that
Super
ring.
screwed.
Yeah, you're done.
Not only is the screw screwed, but you're screwed.
You are way screwed. So you're unscrewing the other screws and throwing the rings away because they are done.
Right. So having that torque limiter on there kind of really helps out because, I mean, all these manufacturers that make these gun parts, they have their limits. They state their limits for you, and they make the math simple.
Yeah.
They say, hey, torque it down to this much. You just take that fix-it wrench and set it and forget it.
100%. Now look at how big this this bolt is on this side here. Look at that nut, man. It's a huge. It's a nice piece of hardware. Look, whenever I get asked these questions about the equipment, and it's an insane price because it is a little bit of insane. I think these
Right, it's not cheap.
These rings were $200, and the base was about $100. So you're talking $300 on rings. Well, the scope is $1,400. I got the scope on Gunbroker for $950.
Wow.
Yeah. It was, I think it was used, but the guy still had the box, so it's in great shape. By the way, this is not the setup I took to Africa, okay? I bought this gun and was in Africa within 2 months. That was a mistake. Not taking this gun was a mistake, but the fact is that I had a different setup I had 2-piece mounts, so I didn't have this complete rail, and I had different rings on there. Mm-hmm. And this thing kept moving. It was loose. The base was loose. Something was loose on it. When I ripped this all apart and rebuilt it with this setup now, this bad boy is sub MOA. And I'm talking about one thing that I didn't mention when I was talking about the cheek riser is my belt loops, my ammo loops. There's 4 in the magazine and there's 7 here. My thinking is when you're in camp, you should have everything on the gun ready to go. I'm going to tell you why. Many times hunters get excited. They're on the truck, they're on safari, and they bump an animal and they get out of the truck and they walk away from the truck without any other ammo other than what's in the magazine. Mm-hmm. Most of the 300 Win mags, you got 3 in the mag and 1 in the pipe. You got 4 rounds. You get out of the car. You start walking for an hour. You see the animal. You take a shot. It hits a branch, it deflects. You take another shot. You miss. It starts running. You follow it for another hour or 2. You got 2 shots left.
And you're further and further away from the truck.
And you're really far from the truck. And when you realize that you have no ammo is when you ran out of ammo. At which point, your professional hunter looks at you in utter disappointment. So don't do that. So you should have enough ammo on the gun to be able to handle just about any situation. Now, look, I carry on my belt another 7, maybe 10 rounds, okay? And I have it in an ammo carrier, so it doesn't make any noise and all that stuff, but I have it on my person for the same reason. Have I left the truck with 3 rounds in the rifle? Yes. Have I regretted it? Yes. Okay, I've missed an opportunity several times because I didn't have enough ammo.
And when you're going to Africa for a hunt, that's one of those things that you do not want to fail on or make a mistake on. 100%. Running out of ammo
not good.
Is probably like the worst feeling you could possibly have.
Especially if you're 2 hours from the truck.
So prepare.
Yeah, so don't do that. If you're going on an elk hunt, you're going on a horseback hunt, or you're on a side-by-side and you get off the thing and you start walking and you're up and down a couple canyons and you realize you got 3.
Yeah.
Some of you may have even left with nothing. There's no ammo. You took the magazine out and put it in the bag or in your backpack and you didn't bring the backpack.
And some people may say, well, you only need 1. Sure. Once you hit.
Those people don't understand hunting. That's just not true. You don't need 1. Nobody needs 1 round. You just don't. Yep. It's just ridiculous. You know how much you need? You need as much as it takes.
Yep.
And it'll be somewhere between 1 and 15. So that's my setup. That's my reasoning. My thinking is if this rifle's on the gun rack at camp in Africa, in Alaska, especially if you're in the bush, if you're camping out in the bush, this thing's got to be ready to roll. You cannot be screwing around looking for ammo, digging through backpack pockets and all that stuff. It's got to be there. I'll have in fact, I found this gun only came with 1 magazine. I bought 2 more on eBay. I got so lucky. I was able to find 2 more, and that's one of them. So I got three magazines for this thing, and they last forever. So That's the beauty of having metal magazines. They really last forever if you don't bang them around. So this, guys, is the ultimate rifle. I want to just mount the rifle so that you could see. What I want you to see is look at my cheek, my big, fat, chunky cheek, and where it sits in relation, the center of my eye in relation to the center of the scope.
Which is very important, because for those of you that have been shooting, and if you guys have ever mounted a rifle and kind of wanted to look into the scope, especially when the adrenaline's running and you just get that, you just can't center that scope ring. You've got the scope shadow all over the place. This is why having that cheek riser and ensuring that your cheek is at the proper location in relation to where your scope is mounted is so important. So, make sure that you properly fit your rifle. And Langosta here has got his cheek riser, and you swear by those things, because not only do they add support as a cheek riser, get you in the right position, but you've got those ammo jackets as well.
100%. So when you mount that rifle on your shoulder, you have no scope shadow. It is a clear sight picture.
Yep.
Okay. When you mount when you're determining how much eye relief to have, you will put the zoom much higher.
Mm-hmm.
If you do the eye relief at 3x, when you zoom in to 15 or 12 or anything higher than that, you will start to have scope shadow, which point you'll have to move your cheek further or backwards.
Mm-hmm.
You don't want to do that. You want to mount this magnified at the most magnification that you're going to have, and play with that eye relief distance until you have no scope shadow. When you do that, when you zoom it down, when you bring down the zoom to 3, you will not have any scope shadow. But many people make the mistake of going to 3, setting the eye relief there, and then when they zoom up, they've got like a tunnel. Not only do you have a little bit of scope shadow, you've got a tremendous amount of scope shadow, and that's not good.
And that's not when you want to take the shot. I think too many people that are out there that don't have success when hunting with a rifle, they're just not set up properly to where they're taking shots that they really shouldn't take when they've got full scope shadow. They're looking at, through their scope, and all they're looking at is just a little bit of that crosshair, trying to fit it onto the animal. And the last thing you want to do when you're hunting and you're up on the animal, because you're going to be filled with adrenaline, right? You're going to have to learn how to control your breathing. You're going to have to relax. You're going to have to go through your shot process. And having that scope shadow, some people just, they rush. They take the shot and they have no idea where their bullet goes. They end up missing, and they wonder why things went wrong. So if you set yourself up with the right fit, it just makes things so much easier for you.
100%. The other part of this is that when you see scope shadow at full magnification, or let's say your higher magnification, let's not even call it 15, let's say mid-range 12, 10. When you see scope shadow, you're also getting parallax. So you put your crosshairs on your mark and you think that you're on the mark, but you're not, because you have parallax. Remember, you have to have this understanding that you've got 2 prisms. You've got one in the rear and one in the front, and you've got to line up the center of your eye with both of those. So you can't be like this, right? It has to be perfectly aligned.
Mm-hmm.
And if you have scope shadow, you're not perfectly aligned.
Nope.
Yeah. So set up your rifle right. If you don't know how to do that, get some help. Go take some classes or watch the channel. We're going to put some videos together talking about the proper setup. But this is a good start to that conversation as we go through different rifles, and I explain why I set them up that way.
So in Africa, what else are you taking with you? So when you're walking around and you're kind of chasing after that big game, are you taking a bipod? Do you have a tripod? Or are you just got Sticks. The rifle on your shoulder?
No. So I'll take the rifle. The tracker or the professional hunter will have a tripod, either just a Y. I've got some shooting sticks that are a tripod also. They're super light. They're carbon fiber.
Mm-hmm.
I like taking those. I've taken some 400-yard shots standing up. You're not going to shoot prone. You're not going to shoot with a bipod prone. I mean, it's just not going to happen. You've got to get some trigger time standing up on some sticks. You got to do that. You got to teach yourself how to do that.
And have you, what does that gun come out to in terms of weight? So with the Takedown HS Precision calibered in the 300 Winchester with that scope, what are you sitting at?
We are at 10 pounds. She's she's a little bit heavy. But it has a bull barrel. I'll be honest with you, man. I'm not ashamed to say it. I'll let the Skinner carry my gun for me. I have no problem doing that. I'll have a backpack with some water. I always carry that, and I've got my first aid stuff. I've got like real first aid, like tourniquet, gauzes to do wound care. I have a real legit,
serious stuff.
I've got a real legit thing. Like if we get tossed by a buffalo, or God forbid somebody gets shot or ricocheted, or like I've got stuff to stop bleeding. I got chest seals. I got the real deal. So I don't ever sub that out to somebody else hoping that they have it. I always take that with me. I would rather carry the backpack with the bandages and the first aid stuff than I would with the rifle.
Okay.
So the tracker will carry the tracker or the Skinner, that depending on how many people going with you. Somebody will carry my rifle for the most part. I'll have a backpack and I have the binos, and I'm basically standing, walking behind the professional hunter. So in the beginning, in the top, in the front is the tracker, professional hunter, me, and maybe a Skinner behind me.
Got it.
So that's the setup. So look, if you're hunting mountains and you're going up for sheep and all that stuff, I get it. You want like a 6-pound rifle.
Yeah.
No problem. That's not this. This is your all-around rifle for shooting, for traveling, and for shooting at long distance for plains game animals.
Got it.
If you go to Wyoming and you're in a side-by-side hunting on pronghorn antelope, no problemo. This is a good little setup for that. If you're in Alaska and you're in areas where there's longer shots, you can definitely do this. Guys have shot bear with a 300 Win Mag. I think most of the guys will want a 375. Now I have to say one thing about this that I haven't mentioned. Because this is a modular unit where the chamber and the barrel is one piece, you can have another barrel with a bigger caliber. So if you do your hash marks on where this scope is on the rail, you would take this scope off. Let's say I had a 375 H&H or a 416 Remington, a big dangerous game animal cartridge. Like, okay, we're going to go after buffalo. No problem. We're going to start the entire hunt with only the 458 lot or the 416 barrel setup. So it'll have a smaller scope, the right barrel, and then the bolt changes because the bolt face is different. Go hunt your dangerous game. You're done. Everything's happy. You've got a few extra days. You're going to go after some plains game animals. You put in your 300 Win Mag, and you're good to go. Or you could have a 375. I have contemplated ordering a 375 barrel for this. And this is the beauty of it. You're gonna travel with 2 guns in one case. It's gonna be cheaper because in South Africa you have to pay the gun permit per gun. Even though you have 2 barrels, it's still one gun. So you're only paying that for one gun.
Nice.
And you're only going to have one box, so you're not going to pay luggage, additional luggage.
You're not carrying an extra piece of luggage.
You're not carrying an extra piece of luggage. You're going to fit the whole thing in one case. So, So there's advantages to that, man. I mean, look, the reason that the Europeans do it with the R8 and they're so adamant about it is because if you're traveling around, it is a big hassle to have these huge Pelican cases. Now, I've done it several times, but given the choice, I do dig this.
I think some people may have some hesitation based on the fact that it's a takedown rifle, and they might kind of hesitate to get one because you're taking, one of the most important pieces of the rifle off of it and then putting it back on. But based on the fact that HS Precision has some real quality products, you really don't necessarily have to worry about that. The way that the pieces fit together and the way that they've manufactured, produced, and engineered that rifle, I mean, you can have confidence that, once you take it apart, put it back together, you're dialed in, you're going to remain dialed in throughout your journey.
Yeah, it goes back to zero. No tools. No
That's
tools.
awesome.
A lot of the other takedown rifles, you need a tool. In fact, you need that for the R8. You have to have a special tool to take it apart. Here, it's a half twist lock. Now, we're going to take this bad boy to the range, and I'm going to fire 5 shots. And while the camera's continuously running, Brian is going to film me, take it apart, put it back together, and fire another 5 shots. But continuous, without doing a jump cut or anything like that. So that you could see that this thing goes back to zero.
Nice.
No problem. It goes back to
Can't
zero.
wait.
So it's gonna be a fun thing. If you guys want to check out HS Precision, you can check them out online, hsprecision.com. You can actually build your rifle there. They're not a sponsor. I wish they would love to have them as a sponsor because I love their products.
Would love any sponsor.
Yeah. Please sponsor us. You could actually build this rifle online and configure it, and they'll tell you the price. You can choose the colors of the barrels.
So they're still making the Takedown.
100%. 100%.
Okay,
They
cool.
make 2 different versions. They make this one, and they make a tactical Takedown for the military and sniper SWAT units.
Dun, 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 dun.
Yeah. So and they'll pick whatever caliber, man. They've got like 100 different calibers in there. It's crazy. They'll make this in a 458 lot. So kind of like the dream setup for Africa would be to have another barrel that is 375 H&H.
So you got this in the 300 Win Mag.
Yep.
And if you were to get another barrel, what would you get?
I'd probably get a 375 H&H. I probably would do that because then I know I could just go. I would just take that setup to Alaska if I go on a bear or a moose hunt. I would just take a 375. And I got to tell you one thing. You know, I know that there's a whole conversation about what caliber is the best and this and that. When you are traveling to a hunting destination, you do not want an exotic cartridge. You don't want that. You want a cartridge that if you lose your ammo gets damaged, your ammo gets lost, you'll be able to get ammo. You don't want to have some crazy wildcat thing and then your ammo gets lost and you're stuck. You know what caliber I saw the most? So when you go to Africa, the first thing that they take you to before you go on your hunt is to make sure that you're 0-0. You know what brass is always on the ground in Africa?
What?
300 Win Mag. 300 Win Mag. Every single place that I've gone to zero in the rifle has got a lot of 300 Win Mag on the ground, which means that everybody in camp, even your fellow hunters,
are going to have 300 Win Mag.
Somebody will do you a solid. Everybody's going to travel with 3 or 4 boxes of it. Somebody, if you have an issue, somebody will peel off.
That's
10.
great advice because, again, kind of going back to mistakes that you can make, the one thing that you can never take for granted is coming across a situation where your ammo's lost or something happens to your ammo. Well, what do you do at that point? And if you do have one of those exotic cartridges that's hard to find, you're screwed.
Yep.
You're going to be ended up paying, you spent the time, purchasing the gun, dialing in the gun, and now you can't use the gun. Yeah. And it's not like you're screwed out of your hunt. Your guide in your services are likely going to have rifles that you could use. Yes. But guess what? It's going to take that little piece out of it, and it's also going to take your confidence out of it. You may not necessarily be as comfortable with the shot that you're about to take than with the gun that you had practiced with
100%.
and wanted to shoot.
100%. In fact, even like amongst your buddies, when we went this year, it was 4 of us, but there were only 3 rifles between the 4 of us because a couple of guys shared. But everybody had 300 Win Mag, and everybody had the same load, 180 grains, Barnes bullets. So I mean, think about it: 60 between the 3 of us. We got plenty of ammo.
Yeah,
no chance.
Yep, that's cool.
And, so
that's a hot tip.
I think so. I think that's the way to go. For hunting exotic places, don't go crazy with wildcat stuff. Get stuff. And that's the reason that my secondary selection for dangerous game is 375 H&H. For dangerous game, it's the most popular caliber that you'll find in Africa. That you're no problem. You'll find 416 Remington, you'll find 416 Rigby, and that's kind of like it. When I went to South Africa, I went to a gun store in South Africa where all the professional hunters shop at. It's really cool. It's like a mini Cabela's, and I got to go to the gun room. They had a nice gun room there, and pretty much they had 30-06, 308, 300 Win Mag, for the Plains game stuff. They even had 243. And then the dangerous game stuff was 416 Remington, 416 Rigby, and then they had some ammo for the doubles for the 470 Nitro Express, 500 Nitro Express. So that's kind of like your short list of widely accepted, widely supplied ammo there, and the reason why you should consider something like that.
Awesome.
Hey guys, if you guys have any questions or comments, please post them below, and make sure if you haven't done so, like and subscribe so that when we go to the range and test this bad boy out, you get to see some of the footage of me shooting. Actually, we'll both shoot this thing. JoJo, I'm really excited to take this thing to the range, man. We got to do this.
It's going to be awesome, man. I've seen it. You've showed it off a couple of times, and I haven't pulled the trigger yet, but can't wait to do that.
Well, it sounds like that's Randy's calling card.
He's back again. Your cousin can't get enough of this show, man.
Randy. All right. Well, let me get out of his seat and let him into the studios, and let's see what's happening with Randy.
And again, while cousin Randy joins us, I just want to say thank you guys once again, for joining us here at Rifles, Rods, and Broads. Langosta, myself, JoJo, truly appreciate you hitting that liking and subscribe button and joining us. Your comments, your questions are important. As you guys know, we love to share information. So if there's anything that we can do to help you, we are more than willing to help. So again, send your comments, send your questions right here at YouTube. Check out our Facebook, our Instagram for Rifles, Rods, and Broads. Truly appreciate you guys joining us each and every time. As you guys can tell, we truly enjoy hunting. We love fishing. Right now, we are deep into hunting season. I myself still have my archery tag in my pocket. I've got a few more weeks here in the month of December to get myself some deer here in California, Southern California. So we'll be going out for a couple more weekends. And in the meantime, you know, we talk about Mullet Mail and you guys sending us your mail here at Rifles, Rods, and Broads. Well, guess what? We have cousin Randy back in action.
Boys, girls, Randy here.
Randy, what up, Randy?
JoJo, what's happening, man?
What's going on, buddy? We got some mail for you. Nobody likes to send myself or Langosta anything, but when it comes to receiving mail here at the show, everything seems to be addressed to Randy.
Well, JoJo, what you seem to miss is that you don't got the juice. What you need is
I guess we don't got the juice.
Well, so listen, we got a fresh mail.
Fresh mail.
Let's see. I got energies. I got energies coming from the mail.
That seems like a good one.
Well, what we got here is. Hey, by the way, if you haven't done so already, you can send me by magical email. They call this email thing by the internet.
Technology nowadays.
Yeah,
can you believe that? You can send mail via electronic devices.
For free. So, Mullet Mail at riflesrodsandbroads.com. Mullet Mail. That comes straight to me. The Randy keeps me employed 1 week longer. All right. This week we have a mystery guest here. This guest here, his name is TL. Well, Randy, what an honor it is to write to you. My name is Tom, but my friends call me TL. Since I was named after a Dallas cowboy, Tom Landry. Living out near San Antonio, we have no shortage of hunting clubs and hunting ranches in the area. I'm writing to you because I have several buddies of mine that are members of multiple clubs at the same time. And it burns my britches. I think that they should be a little bit more loyal to one of their little clubs. I know 2 of them are members of at least 4 different hunting clubs that we know of. I can understand belonging to 2 clubs. It's like a little 2-timer type of thing. But 4, I mean, that's crazy. That's inexcusable in my eyes. What's your stance on belonging to more than 1 club? With appreciation, TL from San Antonio. JoJo, what do you think about that? What do you think about joining, having a multiple membership? Do you think you're more like a 2-timer?
I think being a two-timer is not too bad.
Oh, really? Oh,
But
so you don't think your loyalties are split between the two clubs?
oh, I gotta say, I'm a one-timer though. I'm a Redondo Rod and Gun Club guy.
Yep. Me too. I think.
But four's too many.
That's
I don't
a
know.
foursome. It's a foursome.
That's crazy.
Could be a little bit too crazy.
That's only in the movies.
So TL, what you got to do is not be enticed. I know these guys are probably talking about all these different fun things that they're doing, all these different clubs, and you're in there by yourself in this little one membership situation. You're like a monogamous guy who's dating a foursome type of cheater, and you're in a love triangle. You're stuck in the middle of a love triangle.
It might be okay to do in Utah.
Well, Utah, a lot of stuff goes on in Utah that can only happen in Utah. In fact, some people say what happens in Utah stays in Utah. Well, it could have been that bad. I don't know about that. But anyway, if you don't want to get yourself involved in a foursome situation and you're only more of a single shot thing, then, you just got to be, you got to humor them a little bit. You can't take things too serious, understand, have a little fun there. Now, if you do get tempted to cheat, then you got to keep it quiet. Don't be one of those people over there that go kiss and tell, go do something over there at that club, and then come to this club over here and complain about how fun and amazing it is at that club, but you're not there. You're actually telling the other people about how much fun that club is. I think that's just tacky, don't you think?
Yeah, I agree.
I think that's tacky. So try not to be tacky. Try not to be a little queefer, and shoot straight, man. So anyway, if you haven't done so already, please make sure you like and subscribe. And if you want to send and have your mail read at Mullet Mail, send it to Mullet Mail at Rifles, Rods, and Broads. And this is your friend Randy saying, I love you. Shoot straight. And so like and subscribe to the Rifles, Rods, and Broads podcast.
Mahalo, cousin Randy, and thank you, TL, for sending some mullet mail. Some great questions, some great advice. I know that's always tough, kind of wondering and debating how many clubs can I belong to. I'll tell you what, there's some great hunting and fishing clubs out there all across the country, and here in Southern California, there's great hunting and fishing clubs as well. Redondo Rod and Gun Club, the Compton Hunting and Fishing Club, Long Beach, they are all over the place. I think, no matter who you join or how many you join is fine as long as you can find the time to do all of them. We love all the Southern California, all the Mid-California, Central California, Northern California hunting and fishing clubs.
Big shout out to the Long Beach club out there. They're always following us on the social media, liking our stuff. So
they are.
Really
and that
friends.
Long Beach club, man, if you follow them on their social media, they do a lot of fishing, a lot of hunting, much props, and sending our aloha to the Long Beach Rod and Gun Club.
Right on, boys. I'm going to give you a little love chirp over there at the Long Beach boys. By the way, if you want to invite us over to do a little beer drinking and cigar smoking at the Long Beach thing, please, by all means, send Randy a message. And,
hey, we
we'll
may
set
just
that
show
up.
We might just have a portable studio.
We may actually have to cheat on the Redondo Rod and Gun Club and go over there and do a...
Oh, man.
Right.
I don't think our boys would mind at all.
No, one little getaway and go have a little beer. Be good. I actually drove by there. I got lost in Long Beach.
Oh, yeah?
And I did a U-turn, an illegal U-turn by all means, in front of the Long Beach Rifle Rods, Long Beach Gun Club, Rod and Gun Club. I think I'm ready to wrap this thing up because my brain's broken.
I think we're ready, man. We are ready. There's the howl.
Well, boys, thanks for watching another episode of Rifles, Rods, and Broads. This is JoJo and Langosta signing out.
Aloha. Chee-hoo.